Our judgment should be about how well we connect with our members, and that's been a key issue for me. How well we connect with members, how well we explain our issues, how well we get them on side. Those of us who come from what some would say professional backgrounds, I think every worker is professional, no matter what job they do, but some of us who are social workers or nurses or teachers sometimes think that we don't have the same issues that the highways workers does, and when we do, because we have not much more control over our workplace than they do. In fact, sometimes I think they maybe have more. I remember before I was elected president, I was the education chair for my branch. So I used to go around at noon hours and hold brown bag lunches and play, union historical films or do things educational in workplaces, because I was trying to get people to see the union as more than just a strike or a lockout or more than just collective bargaining. It was so much more. I would hope that they learn that they're making history, that they will learn about all sorts of names, some of which they knew, some of which they don't know, but that ultimately all of those people had, in order to be a historical person, you had to have other people around you, many of which will never be acknowledged or even known about. So I would hope that our members that take labor history would know that they're making history, that in the workplace they may have fought for some accommodation for someone that they never had to do before. And it may not be a big issue, it may not be written up about somewhere, but it is historical, and we need to keep track of those, that they make history when they change things in their organization. When we made history when we started offering childcare at labor education, because it didn't used to be offered. It wasn't always here. So the people who fought for that, and it wasn't easy, by the way. Even though we were fighting for it in the workplace, it wasn't easy in the union movement. So that they know that they're making history. That if you change the way you do things in your union, that's making history. That if you figure out a way to bring in younger workers, that's making history. So first off, that's what I will hope, that everybody understands that history is them first, and that we all have some history. We are militant in our support of United Way agencies. We're militant in our support of being an anti-racist, feminist, queer positive, youth inclusive, ability inclusive, anti-racist, a worker-centered organization. And we should figure out ways to celebrate that. So yeah, that's sort of it, is that we shouldn't shy away from telling our stories. We need to be proud of them. And we need to be proud of the work that every person does. Every person. Because without the labor movement, we are the first and the last line of defense for a lot of people. Not just our own members, but for a lot of other people. And without the labor movement there, defending our rights, pushing things forward, there's a lot of people inside and outside of the unionized workforce that would not have the rights that they do now, and they would be gone in a minute. If people think that the employers will say, gee, you fought for this, but you don't need the union anymore because we'll continue to give it to you, think again. It would be gone in a minute. So let's be militant, let's be proud of our militancy, let's be proud of our social unionism, which is connected into our communities. We always do a session on the isms that divide us, the isms that bring us together. So, the isms like racism, sexism, heterosexism, ageism, ableism, the isms that divide us. And because we think it's important that you have a secure place for kids that they can be themselves, and you can't be that if you feel like you're excluded. And then of course we talk about the isms that bring us together: trade unionism, feminism, socialism.